Okay, hello everyone. I hope all is fine with everyone and you all also doing great. Greeting to all, and I appreciate your attendance today. And so let's kickstart our session with this great quotation. So I may have been knocked down, but I never stayed down. And I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor. So, a very good evening to the guest, ma'am. In this capacity as your host for this worldwide webinar on the life and themes of Ma'am Neerja Malik, I, Nandini, the co host, as a host, would like to take this opportunity to extend my heartiest welcome to you, ma'am, and everyone present around you. Okay, it gives me a great pleasure to extend my warm hellos to each and every one of you who's gathered here. And it's a huge honor for us to have someone of this caliber here, ma'am, whose involvement on the topic of the life and themes of her life. And it's adds so much value to her life also. And before I proceed further, let me take a brief moment of introduction of our organization. So, Saints Welfare Foundation is registered a non-profit organization. It's dedicated to a social impact across various sectors, and we focus on educations, particularly skills development and entrepreneurship. And through our initiative, DG Saksham, we have created trainings and programs in IT, finance, retail, and entrepreneurship, impacting over 6,000 individuals. So, FEMLATE's another same initiatives empowers women through the workshops and stories of the stories of successful female entrepreneurs. And in just short times, SEMS have also established itself as a force for positive change, equipping individuals with skills for employments and promoting women leadership in various industries. So now let me take the wonderful occasions to publicity present and welcome to ma'am. She is the speaker for today's international webinar. And now I would like to address a few lines about our speaker. So now I would like to take a moment honor to an extraordinary journey about the speaker, Ma'am Neerja Malik, that has been recognized for its impact, resilience, and inspiration. And 70 years ago, a journey marked by love and resilience, born to parents who instilled in her the belief that God is loving, not fearful. A speaker has lived a life full of purpose and positivity. Her early influence in life is her mother's wisdom, and her father's profound advice shaped her outlook. When faced with her diagnosis, her father said, "Why fight it? Why not face it?" These words turned her journey into one of courage. But facing adversity becomes a way of her life. Life changes her way. Broken bones, miscarriages, cancer twice, and a spectacemia three times. Yet she faced them all, and not as a survivor but as a conqueror. So her professional contributions are like she is occupied with background in social work and educations, and has spent the last 26 years counseling as a cancer patients, founding the Apollo Cancer Support Group and inspiring countries others. Her belief is that if I can do it, so can you. As an inspirational speaker, she has addressed schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, corporates, NGOs, clubs, and even a gathering at the Lok Sabha Secretariat in New Delhi. Invited by the Departments of State, USA in October 2008 as a participant for the first ever International Visitors Leadership Program on breast cancer. Her impact is global. So, in her book, I Inspire, she shares simple yet profound methods for illuminating the incidents in her life. These treasures have empowered her to overcome not just cancer, but life's many challenges. She had featured in countless articles and videos on YouTube, and also have launched a podcast. Her life is a beacon of positivity with the daily mantras like God is great. This too shall pass, and laughter is the best medicine. With countless awards, articles, and videos, she continues to be guiding light for those in need, proving that with love, faith, and gratitude, all adversity can be overcome. So, before we dive into today's topic, I want to take a brief moment to glimpse the awards bestowed to Ma'am Neerja Malik. Okay, her stories begin in 2009 with the Positive Health Award that presented from Dr. Batras, a foundation for the remarkable path ahead, and in 2022. In 2020, she awarded by the iconic Women Creating a Better World for All by Women Economic Forum. And in 2021, recognized with the Exceptional Leader of Excellence Award. And in 2023, She received the Excellence in Cancer Rehabilitation and Counseling Award from the Jillian Foundation Trust. So, with this note, I, Nandini, on behalf of the SEMS Welfare Foundation, would like to give my warm welcome to Ma'am Neerja Malik. And your presence has added to the significance of this event, ma'am, and we are genuinely honored to have you here.
Thank you very much, Nandini, and to everyone over here and others who will be seeing this perhaps later. The divinity in me bows down to the divinity in all of you. So, this is going to be a rather informal talk. You would wonder why we called this session The Life and Times of Neerja Malik. And I would like to tell you here that in these 70 years, I have been through so very much that I could not encapsulate it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes many sessions or many hours to just introduce myself to you. Well, we will start again.
Sure,
And
ma'am.
sorry for wasting your time. And actually, this is not wasting. What I want you to learn from here is that you young ones grow up literally in the nursery or the kindergarten with computer, and remember that we are many generations removed, and so we never had any of that, Nandini. But what we had, and as I will explain about my life, as I will share memories from my existence, I will make a little note to tell you कि हमारा जमाना कैसे था. Tell me, Nandini, do all of you speak and understand Hindi, or should it just be in English?
And you can prefer both at the same time.
But are there others who don't understand Hindi? Then I will not talk in Hindi at all.
Actually, people are comfortable in Hindi, English both. So
Okay.
you can just go on with both. Fine.
So now imagine I am fairly, what should I say, Punjaban, and I look the part of a warrior. I look the part of a, Khandi Pindi Aurat. So I was a chubby child, but I must tell you that I was born in Srinagar. My father was in the Indian Navy. He was captain of many ships. And he used to specialize in something called hydrography, or he was a surveyor, which means that he made the maps of the ships that would travel around. And we had a very adventurous life because we traveled from place to place, and especially during our postings and especially during holidays, we never ever traveled by train or plane. The two dogs, my sister and I and my parents would pack up everything into a car from the age of maybe I was 4 and my sister was just born, and we would travel the whole world. So, why am I telling you this? I know that you children, I don't know your ages, but I'm sure that as you grow older, you will get married, you will have children. And I just want to tell you that how the parents encourage a child, give the child unconditional love. That is how the child grows up to be a confident, adventurous, ready to face challenges and changes in life, which is what my parents for me. So I was born on the dining table in Srinagar. And you would say, why dining table? Of course there was. But my Nani's best friend in Srinagar was a gynecologist. Dr. Sandkar. And she told my nanny, why do you want to take her to the hospital? I'll deliver your granddaughter, your oldest grandchild, in the house. So guess what? All the preparations were made. My mother was made to lie down on a bed. And then the doctor said, 1 minute, the bed is sinking from the center. I need a flat top. Now, where would you find a flat top in a house but the dining table? So there she was lifted and put on the dining table, my mother, and that is where I was. I don't have a birth certificate. These things happened. Had I been born in the hospital, I would have had a birth certificate, but I don't. And once I was born there, I was a forceps child, which means that I kind of got stuck inside and they had to use a forceps to yank my head out, pulling the whole body with it. So I literally had a kutub minar on the top. So every day, my nanny would take tail, oil, and would rub my head so that it became like normal sized. And the leftover oil was used on my nose. So that is why people say, oh, you have a very sharp nose. Now you know where that sharp nose came from. It was my nani doing this with the leftover. I'm going into these little details, my dears, because what makes a human being the kind of person they are? Human contact, exposure to the elements of God, elements of nature. We know that the five elements are water, fire, earth, air, space. And what do you think Kashmir or Srinagar is all about? All those things. And as a child, I was loved by everyone, whether they were the shikara pullers or whether they were our neighbors or and don't forget animals. My life was full of dogs and cows and cats. And so all these things are required to make a human being a well rounded, adventurous person. I was never stopped from climbing a tree. I would fall and break my bones, but I was always encouraged to be myself. And what are we? As human beings, we are free individuals. As human beings, we are the image of God. And remember one thing, children, that each of us is connected to the one above. And because each of us is connected directly to him or her, as we may think of the special creator, we are connected with each other. Now, if each of us thought like that, would there be wars? Would there be misery? Would there be suffering? No, because we would be to each other, not only as friends, but as family, working in harmony, working in joyous togetherness. So there I was, free as a bird, learning how to ride a scooter, Lambretta, at the age of 10. And how did my uncle teach it? Now remember, as I'm talking to you, you will see the differences. You know how they taught people how to ride a cycle? Hold the seat from the back and run along. So my uncle, who was a general in the army, held the seat of my Lambretta scooter and ran along. Now, I didn't understand what the clutch is, what anything. So I'm very glad that there is a bund. There is a river. There are shikaras and houseboats in it. You cross it to get to the main city. But every river top has a bund, a kind of a high divider. So my scooter went there. And because I didn't know how to press the clutch, it just died. There was no petrol, and I came back. Now, these are all adventures that make a person excited. You know that when you are happy, you get endorphins, oxytocin, you get all the good hormones in your body. And I think I got an excessive amount. I was a games camp. I was in the NCC. I was the best shot lying down, kneeling, standing. I used to row a boat. I was roller skating. I was never stopped. And what I want to tell you is that all the children that are going to come forth with you, with your families, with your sisters and brothers and uncles and aunts and neighbors and friends, just remember one, encourage them to be free to follow their own heart, not to restrict them, not to hold them back, because these are the things that made me the person I am, who when I went through life, I was able to take on a lot of things because of the person. So it is, in a way, our duty to help all around us be free, follow their passion, follow their dedication. And it is so wonderful for me to address you people because you probably come from different cities, different states, different parts of India, different parts of the world, but we are together for a cause. And what is that for? To be able to improve each other, to be able to share knowledge with each other, and to be able to encourage each other and expose each other to the different lifestyles and the ways that we have. So, this is what I want all of you to remember, that kindness, loving someone, living every moment to the best possible, improving ourselves to be better versions of ourselves. And you know what they say? If you heal, then the world heals with you. If you smile, if you are happy, if you are content, if you are peaceful and harmonious, then the atmosphere around you changes to all those. And imagine each of us can make a difference. I believe a lot in vibration, and those vibrations are the ones that we can spread, and they absolutely impact not only the little spaces that we have around us, but our neighbors. Beyond our neighbors, our little community. Beyond our communities, the streets we live on. Beyond that, the cities. So if all of us had the same goal, that let us together pray for world peace, let us together join hands in just sending out beautiful vibrations that make the world a happier and healthier place. What an impact and what a difference. So I grew up getting posted from place to place, changing schools, making new friends. That's another thing. The more friends we have, the more connections we have, the more people we have to communicate with. Communication is one of the best things. And I don't mean communicating verbally. There's so much in nonverbal communication. For the last 26 years, I have been counseling cancer patients from the time I was diagnosed on Friday the 19th, 1998. So communication doesn't mean that I shake a person and say, look, this is what I did, and this is what you should do, and this is how. Communication means a gentle smile, a touch on the shoulder, the eyes showing warmth and the feeling that, yes, I understand your pain. Now, if any person goes to a cancer patient and says, be positive, they'll turn around and they say, do you know what we are going through? Do you know what our families are going through? And I say, yes, I know. I know what I've gone through twice. I was diagnosed with cancer in not only 1998, but also in 2004. And I said, I know what my family has gone through. I can understand what yours has gone through. What is the ace that I have up my sleeve? The ace that I have up my sleeve is that if I can do it, so that is the bottom line, to be able to understand the sufferings and the joys of other human beings. And don't they say this, that when you smile or laugh, it expands, but when you are sorrowing and you share it with someone, it gets halved. So imagine if all of us had an equal hand in sharing not only our joys and happiness, our triumphs, but also our sorrows, because the joys and happiness gets multiplied and the sorrows get divided when we share. So there's so many tips that I am giving to you while I speak, more on how a good human being, a warm, loving person can make an impact on society. It's not just, oh, I'm a cancer conqueror. Oh, I counsel cancer patients. Oh, I've been through this, that. No, I do talk about what I've been through, but also what helped me get out. How to overcome adversity. Sometimes people have a problem. And what do? They curl up and they want to die. But no, if you look the problem in the eye, you can find solution. Now, I want you to visualize there is a circle on a piece of paper in front of me, and I have a pen. So the circle is here, and the pen is right in the center. And who is that? That is I. That is each of us within our circles. We are the pen in the center. What happens in the circle? We have our love, we have our families, we have our work, we have our finances, we have our fights with our neighbors or our beloved ones, we are married, unmarried, we have children, we are troubled, we have a, we could be paralyzed, we could be suffering financial losses, anything could have happened. And I am that pen in the center of the circle, under bearing the word or the weight of all these things. And what happens? I become very subjective. Why? Because I'm there and all this is happening on my head. Now suddenly I pick up the pencil, remove it from the center, take it outside the center. And what happens? I'm the same person. My problems are the same. They haven't changed. But my perception to those problems is different. Because when I'm in the circle, I'm getting overwhelmed with feelings. I'm getting upset with all that is happening. And I might even say, why me? But when I get out of the circle, I'm able to see things clearly. I'm able to see objectively. And I can then see that, things are not that bad. So what do? SDPA. standing for study, diagnosis, plan of action. So here from an objective viewpoint, I can take into consideration the different things that are bothering me and one by one, write down or figure out how to tackle them. Now, it is like this that if I start suffering from that why me syndrome, have I hurt anyone? I haven't even killed a fly. How unfair. Why is this happening to me? Where is my focus? My focus is on self pity. And when I am full of self pity, what is happening to me? I am digging my own grave. Now, while I'm digging my grave, where does the mud go? It goes on to me. And the more I dig, the more the mud will follow me and push me down. And Anjanaya or Hanuman, he's flying overhead and he looks down and he says, oh, there's Neerja. I can help her. But what is Neerja busy doing? She's digging her own grave. She's not even aware that people are there too. So do you understand? When you are in self-pity mode, you shut yourself from even the help that is available and you focus only on your tragedy, your suffering, ensuring that no light from the end of the tunnel can come in. So darlings, I want you to realize हमारे में शक्ति है. We have the power of overcoming all adversity by looking at things positively and by ensuring that we are focused on the problem and ensuring that there is always a solution to every problem. Now you might think that, oh, she's making it sound so simple, but you have heard what I've gone through. So what did I do? I had an adventurous life. I loved it. We used to go to Simla for our holidays. I was ice skating. We used to go to Kunur, Wellington, where my dad was in the staff college. I was busy riding horses and rowing boat. I made the most of every situation that I was in. Okay, some disturbance. I think someone's speaker is on.
Yes, ma'am, please continue.
Yes. So I want to make you understand that your attitude can take you through life, either joyously or sad. And when you are sad, it affects everyone around. And when you are joyous, that also affects everyone around you. But most of all, it affects you because you then become a powerhouse of hope for others. So finished my schooling all over and I did my graduation in social work. Let me tell you, many broken bones along the way, especially my wrist. I'm running to touch a wall and we're all getting chosen as to who runs the best. And they were making teams out of it. I was games kept. And as I'm running, the wall suddenly looms up in front of me. I'm going to crash into it. I put out my hand and then you can hear all kinds of things. And my PT teacher is standing at the other end saying, jumping up and down and saying, I know, I heard her bones break. Yes, I broke my right wrist. So guess what? I could have paid. And I was in agony. I broke it 2, 3 times. Just perpetually in plaster. One of my cousins hated me because every time I went to a house with a plaster, in those days, the plasters used to smell. So I made enemies also along the way. Attitude. Okay, I've broken it. What do I do? Oh, I can't move it. Okay. How do I write my exams? How do I eat my food? ये नहीं तो और सही. And I became ambidextrous, which means that I started using my left hand to eat. I did some exams with my left hand. What did I do? I made the most of the situation. That is the power in all of us. इधर जाऊं या उधर जाऊं, ये करूं या वो करूं, but it is in my hands. Do you know something? So I did my graduation in social work and then I did my B.Ed also. For many years, I worked in a school as a social worker. And then I worked in a school as a fourth standard class teacher. And then God said, Acha Bachu, you have the gift of the gab, you have done your social work, you have done your B.Ed, you have the skills of doing class work, individual work, group work, community work, you have the skills of teaching children. You have all this put together. Now, in the University of Life, I am going to expose you to so many things so that anyone who comes to you and says, This has happened to me, that has happened to me. You will say, I know it has happened to me. I know what you are feeling. I know what your family, and I can do it. So, what happens? It depends on the attitude with which you take things that are hurled at you. I was very slimline, believe it or not. I was exercising. I have represented Delhi for the first national cross country race of India in Lucknow. And how would I practice? My dad was in Delhi in those days. We were living in a place called South Egg. I would send my school bag in the school bus and I would cycle to that school, Mater Dei. That is where I finished my school. So you manage to put in what you are passionate about into your life and it becomes a part of you. All that physical activity, I was aerobics, I was doing a lot of things. All that health, that discipline, that vigor for life, for making sure that my body is my temple and I have to look after it. And I did it. And do you know something? Those are the things that have come to my aid when I have gone through such diverse problems. Now, Nandini introduced me as a fighter, a warrior. But do you know what I call myself? I call myself a conqueror. Why would I say a conqueror? When I was diagnosed, what did the doctors tell me? And I'm talking about 26 years back in 1998, Friday the 13th. The doctors told me that you have 25% chances of survival. But not in India. You will have to go to France or to America because in 98 they had started stem cell research. And they thought that being in stage 4 of cancer, they thought that I was the correct candidate for that. I cried. My dears, it's not that I was smiling at everything that happened to me. I cried for 3 days. I wept, but not because I was scared of death, not because I was scared of myself, but my twins were only 7 years old. I have a boy and a girl. And now, with God's grace, they are 34. But like Nandini mentioned, I had a lot of miscarriages. I had a stillborn in the 8th month in 1987. I could have given up. I did. Till my mother said, no, no, one last try. And my twins were born. Not that life was easy. My blood pressure was 270 by 140. So I was rushed to a nursing home in Bombay where I am right now. I came here a couple of days back. I was put into Elizabeth Nursing Home because the doctors who were taking care of me and my twins were living in the next building. And they used to come and see me at any given time of day or night. Every hour, on the hour, the nurses and the doctors would come to check the fetal heartbeats. My son sat on my right side in the abdomen. You could hear him, boop, 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 but they couldn't find my daughter. She was always swimming behind or in front or underneath or on top. And every hour, darlings, can you understand that every hour when they came with the machine to check the fetal heartbeats and one boop, 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 the other could not be found. Their faces would turn ashen. And seeing them, my heart would sink. And this would happen every hour from the 4th of June to the 5th of July. And when were the twins due? 9th of September. But I went into labor on the 5th of July, 2 months and 5 days premature. Was rushed from Elizabeth Nursing Home to Breach Candy. I was cut open. The twins were removed, put into two incubators. One incubator stopped working. They were rushed to another hospital from Breach Candy to just Slope because Breach Candy did not have a neonatal clinic. And if that was not enough, then when they turned 7, I was diagnosed with cancer. When they turned 14, I was diagnosed with cancer again, which was 2004. 2018, I had septicemia 3 times. Now, septicemia, the bacteria gets into your bloodstream and spreads. And bit by bit, when it gets into the rest of the organs, you give up. The organs bit by bit shut down. Now, what did the doctors come across? The doctors came across this fact that because I've had breast cancer twice, the veins in my arms could not be used. So all the blood that was removed and the medicine put in was in the veins of my feet from 2004 onward. By the time it was 2018, and they said, okay, now we have to put medicine into her blood, into her circulatory system, the veins in my feet had given up. So, you know what they had to do? They had to puncture the jugular vein, and I received 210 injections here. And here it's a difficult point. It catches infection, it gets, it comes out. There's a lot of complications. So they gave me every 6 hours. That means you just about go to the hospital. You can't get this done at home. You go to the hospital, get it done. You get this done. You try and come home. You eat, you sleep a little. You're woken up again because within 6 hours, you've got to go back to the hospital to get it done. So that was my life for 2 weeks, every 6 hours to get to the hospital. And I was fine for 10 days. And then the bacteria came back. So now what did they do? Stronger medicine for another 2 weeks. Not every 6 hours, every 8 hours. And guess what? After 2 weeks of every 8 hours, I was fine for 10 days. And then the bacteria caught me again. And now the doctor said, sorry, we can't leave you after 2 weeks. You have to have these injections every 8 hours for 6 weeks. So imagine every 8 hours for 6 weeks. So all in all, I had 10 weeks of, I guess, 210 injections over here. It had to be punctured often because of various complications. But yes. And what do you think kept me going through all this? The unconditional love of my family, of my friends. They made a plan that from this time to this time, this one will be with me. From that time to that time, that one will be. My sister came a couple of times. My sisters in laws came a couple of times from all over, stayed with me. My cousins came. Everyone came. And that is how I managed to get through all that. So you might say, OMG, what kept me going? So whoever I've come across, they tell me, ma'am, we open up Facebook just to see what you're doing in the morning and we feel zip and zing. We feel strength and energy to face the day. So do you know what I had made it a point that every morning when I woke up during those days, no one knew I was sick. I would open up my Facebook and find that since 2008, when I went for this international visitors leadership program. 14 of us chosen all over the world. And I was the only one who'd gone through breast cancer. And we were people from Russia, from Japan, from Philippines, from Korea, from Siberia, from Macedonia, from Turkey, from all over. And one of them said, you must. She started my Facebook page. My twins, who were 18 by then, said, Ma, you can't be on Facebook. All our friends are on Facebook. And I told Feza was the Turkish girl. I said, Feza, why did you want me to start off on Facebook? And she said, I knew that you would utilize it for the good of humanity. So it came back to me 10 years later, and I realized that, all right, if it is impacting people in a positive way, just get up, see what I've done. And I've done so much that I would just press the memory share tab and go back to sleep. And that kept me going, kept people going. Someone came to visit me and she said, so here I am. I've got a tube from my neck. The drip is going down. And she said, can we take pictures with you? And I said, no, not at all. She went down and she put the name of the hospital location, the name of the hospital I was getting treated at. And she wished me all the best. And guess what? My daughter was with me. And suddenly she asked me, Mom, have you put something on Facebook? I said, of course not. She said, my friend's mother's asking, is your mother all right? I said, what? That girl who had come to visit me and wanted to take a picture with me. And I said, no way. She had gone down and wished me all the best, put a picture of her in mine in good time. And I called her up and I said, please delete that picture and call me back. She deleted it and called me back. And I said, you know, my mother is my Facebook friend, and my mother doesn't know and if I want to talk about it, I talk about my sickness. I talk about everything I've gone through, my broken bones, my miscarriages, my stillborn, my premature twins, my cancer, septicemia, everything. You think I can't talk about this? And the amount of love, affection I get from all over the world. But my mother is my Facebook friend, and she doesn't know that I'm. So, purpose. You need a purpose in life. You need solutions. And the biggest thing I have, apart from love, affection from everyone the biggest thing I have is an intense relationship with God, an intense belief and faith in God. Because if you have that faith can make you move mountains. That faith can make you swim across the oceans. It can make you do anything. And that is the faith that I need. Faith, trust, and surrender to the one above. So when people said, oh my God, you have twins and you've been diagnosed with cancer and so I said, God gives us things because He is testing our faith in Him. He's testing our love in Him. And He feels that somewhere along the way, we have the capacity to be able to overcome it. That is my belief. So one of the patients whom I had helped and her leg was amputated. She used to look like a model, just look like a model from a Vogue magazine. Her hair, her nails, everything beautifully done, properly attired, always in pants or long skirt because one of her legs was artificial. So one day she came and she sat in front of me and she's crying. And I said, what happened? She said, I am scared. I'm scared that it'll come back. I get pain here, I think it's come back. I get pain here, I get pain here, I get pain here. And I think cancer is back. Now, children, listen to me very carefully. She's sitting across the table, and this is what I told her. I used to have a big table. I touched the corner on the left hand side. And I said, this is where I'm born. Then I touched the one on the right hand. And I said, this is where I will die. Now, in between my birth and my death are the years and so many things have happened to me. Now, I can be very bitter. Oh my God, this happened, that happened, the other happened, what, etc. But no, what is the purpose of life? To live every second to the utmost. That is what I want to instill in all of you today. That it is up to us whether we live passionately, happily, and even if we have a problem, we live with purpose to overcome the problem. That is what makes us what we are. So I said, see, I'm born on the left, I will die on the right. And if each of these things that have happened to me, if I keep thinking of them and worrying about them and saying that they'll come back and what, I also want to tell you that in 3 generations in my family, there have been 48 cases of cancer. I have been number 46. Now, if I keep thinking, oh my God, 48 cases of cancer in 3 generations, will I be able to live my next moment if I keep worrying? And I might walk across the road and a lorry can come and hit me and I won't even know I'm dead. So I managed to explain to her that worrying about whether something is coming back to me or worrying about so much I've been through, what's going to happen next, is pointless. Have faith in God, have faith in yourself. Jab jana hai, it is written. Nothing can take us one day before or one day later. Why worry? But live life to the utmost. She understood. And the next time she came for her checkup, she came with a very handsome young man. They made a Rabne Banadi Jodi. And I said, who's this? And she said, my fiance. But I wanted to introduce him to you. Next month, we are getting married and we wanted your blessing. So you see, this is what life is how you take it. Life is how you look at it. Life is how you enjoy it. And your attitude, your positivity is what can make or break your own life. So these are the things that I like to share with everyone. These are the things that I like to say, that whatever comes your, hum honge come. My mother had a very simple state. She would always tell me with unconditional love. She would always tell me that whatever happens, happens, and everything happens. There are things that are negative, but you can find so much of positivity. Where does that strength and resilience, that courage, that bravery come from? My childhood, the love that was given to me, the prayers from all over the world when I was diagnosed with something or the other. That is it, the power of prayer, the power of doing a job, taking the name of God, whether you do it for yourself or others do it. You know, the first time that I had cancer, I used to spend 45 minutes doing Reiki on me, myself. I would say my job, I would do everything. The second time I had it, I did not even have the energy to pray for myself. I had the confidence, yeah, the whole world is praying for me, God is looking after. But energy wise, if my mother said, do you want something? I couldn't open my mouth and speak. This meant yes, and this meant no. I didn't have the energy. And then I explained to my sister, my mother, obviously, mothers, she would get very upset. Then I explained to my sister, please tell her that I'm fine. See, chemotherapy, like everything else, if you look at it as something temporary, every 21 days you have your chemotherapy, or every week and a half you have it, depending on what cancer you're going through, how the doctor has given you your medication prescribed, but the effect is temporary. Radiation, you can have 10, 15. Nowadays, you can have 5 very strong proton or cyberknife radiation. In my good old days, we had only cobalt. You can imagine the kind of, progress that medicine has taken, the kind of progress that has happened in science. So things which we never even knew existed, because of diagnosis, we are able to catch it quickly and treat it. So imagine the time, the life and times that we live in are all for our benefit. So the life and times of Neerja Malik are there as lessons that I have learned, that I have imbibed, that I have embraced, and I spread it on. So my book is called I Inspire, which has 10 things. And the podcast that I've started now, last year, on my birthday, 11th of June, I turned 70, 11th of June this year. I've done 36 podcasts. That is called I Embrace. Because all my learnings I've taken into myself with one thing in mind, that it is my vocation, it is my passion to spread the word to everyone and to ensure that we all live positive, happy, and better lives. Oops, it's 4 past 4. Nandini, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
I Okay, so I think I should stop here and keep the floor open for whatever questions. I will answer all the questions. But remember one thing, Nandini, I don't like to read messages. So you please either can
Sure, ma'am.
ask them to ask me directly, or please ask me the questions. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and God bless you all. My love for you all.
On behalf of this organization committee, I like to express my hearty vote of thanks to our excellent speaker, Ma'am Neerja Malik. And today we got the opportunity to listen to an interesting and thought-provoking discussion. And she skillfully imparted her knowledge, leaving us with a insightful conclusion and motivational concepts. So now let's start with our question round.
Yes.
The participants can please mute and can ask the question.
Madam, hello,
Yes, I can
hello,
hear. I can hear
madam.
you, Ghanshyam. Yes, tell me.
What is your passion now after so many happenings?
Well, my passion now is that I am continuously counseling cancer patients from all over the world. So the pandemic actually has helped us a lot, because people come to me for counseling on WhatsApp, on uh, voice, on Zoom. on everything. And so it doesn't restrict me to only India. So I have patients all over the world. That's one passion. The second passion is to give talks to wonderful people like you who are willing to give me a ear and listen in. And the third passion is that I actually am part of a group called Bob. Bob stands for Babes on Bikes, Boys on Bikes, and Babies on Bikes. So I cycle. Now, my cycling came to a grinding halt after my septicemia because I became very weak, exhausted. So I was missing out, cycling out, seeing the sea, and I live in Chennai, seeing the sea, the greenery, early morning with the air against me. I missed all that. I missed nature. But I couldn't cycle. I was getting exhausted. So then someone suggested, I went for one of the programs where I was guest of honor or chief guest to
Mhm.
set off a cycling race. And over there was this person who had battery operated cycles. So, what I did after a year or so, I thought about it. And now, for the last some years, I have a battery operated cycle, which means that you don't sit and it takes you on. The battery gets continuously pushed by your pedaling motion. But
Okay.
you don't pedal furiously to exhaust yourself. You pedal enough, and it has different gears, so you can reduce the pressure on your body or increase the pressure. But you're pedaling, you're out in the air, out in the open, the sky, the sun, the sea, the sand. And I normally like to stop, and if there are dogs on the road, they'll come to me and I'll chat with them. I love communicating. It doesn't matter if it is the human kingdom, the animal or bird kingdom, even the vegetable kingdom. I love to catch hold of a tree and give it a hug. Sometimes, yes, Ghanshyam, people think I'm nuts. I've lost it or I'm mad. But then I think that is what makes each of us very adorable and enjoyable. Isn't that so? So, yes, those are my passions.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing this question.
Are there any more questions, Nandini?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
First of all, ma'am, I would really appreciate you for fighting very strong in your life. Yes, ma'am. My question to you is, ma'am, that how should we keep ourselves motivated towards our goal? Because, like you did, you carried your career so good, you fought for it. So how do so the thing is that how does we keep ourselves motivated towards our goal?
Okay, this is a wonderful Zoom user. This is a wonderful question to me. What I want to tell you is that if it's okay with Lakshmi and with Nandini, they are 20 very positive thoughts that I share with everyone. And I would be absolutely willing to send it to one of them, and they could perhaps share it with all of you who are present today, and you could share it with anyone and everyone. So, what are those positive thoughts? Let me ask you. Each of us sometimes has an Ishtadevta. So, let's say that my Ishtadevta, by the way, all gods and all the saints and masters from all the religions are my friends. But beyond everything, I think of the mother. It could be Ma in any form. It could even be Mother Earth. So listen carefully. What I say is that I am secure, confident, and relaxed in Divine Mother who heals and strengthens my body, mind, and soul. That's my first positive thought. So it could be Ganesha, it could be Allah, it could be Jesus, Mother Mary, it could be Kuan Yin, it could be anyone. So what do you say? Buddha, Guru Nanak, Shiva, Ram, it could be anyone. So, what do you say? I am secure, confident, and relaxed. Now, if I'm secure in something, that means that I have faith in that person, confident, that I'm aware that the confidence that I have is not going to be shattered, and relaxed. It's like being relaxed in a situation because you know it's a win-win situation. So I am secure, confident, and relaxed in divine. Take Buddha, Hanuman, Ganesha, anyone. Divine, whoever, who heals and strengthens my body, mind, and soul. So you're not only getting healed, you're also getting strengthened. It's not that you get healed and dumped and then, what do I do next? Healed and strengthened what? My body, mind, and soul. Baki bacha kya? The entire you, your being, is perfect. Next thought. Every day, in every way, I am better and better and better. So that gives you a lot of strength within yourself. May I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be healthy and strong. May I take care of myself with joy. So this is three. And one of them is God is great. And one of them is, what is fear? False emotions appearing real. We go and see a movie and da, 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 you get scared. But is it reality? No, it's a movie. Just like that. Anything that we fear is actually not real. So FEAR, false emotion appearing real. So if we know that our fear, our bhai is not real, then we can over. So these are the 20 thoughts that I would share with Nandini, and she can send it to all of you. And you please feel free to share it with anyone and everyone. I would love that. Thank you for asking that question. It reminded me of that also.
Thank, thank you. Nice meeting you, ma'am.
God bless you, all of you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question.
Nandini, maybe I've managed to answer all the questions by giving such a long talk. I didn't realize I'd been talking for so long.
No, ma'am, that was nice. So, thank you very much, ma'am, for answering all the questions asked by the participants. And we really appreciate your excellent guidance. So, once again, my express to you my gratitude, ma'am, for sparing your time from a hectic schedule to impart information to us. And additionally, I want to thank everyone in the attentive audience for their questions and their active involvement. This event is considerably more meaningful because of your participants only. And all for attending today's webinar. And if you have any additional questions, so you can contact us by email, and we are happy to provide you information. So the end is never the end. It's always the beginning of something. I, Nandini, your host for the day, signed off on a cheerful note. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you with the best of health, wealth, prosperity, and happiness. God bless.